The host. Let me see if I can record. Here we go.
I found a button.
Yay! All right, so I'm recording, everybody. So anyway, I'm going to share a couple of the things that I do. Each week, I like to look at my schedule on Sundays. So what I do is I pull up my planner and I keep, I have this particular Erin Condren planner. You guys may have seen something similar, but you can look at my schedule and it's laid out day by day. And so what I have to do is I write in all of my appointments every single Sunday. I write in what's coming up that week. I write in what clients I'm checking in with. I even on Sundays write in my workouts for the whole week because I know if it's not on there, I probably won't end up doing it. So for me, I need to look at it on Sundays and plan ahead for the whole week. So that's what works for me. I just like knowing what's coming. And for my client check-ins, Susan's going to share in a minute what she does for her client check-ins. But for mine, I have a certain window. Every Monday, I check in with clients, and every Thursdays, I check in with clients. Then Tuesday, Wednesday, I also have like lunchtime that I check in with clients. So I know those are the times and days I want to make sure I connect with everybody. So I have a certain people each day. So I write those in on that specific day. So I know comes Fridays are reserved for follow-up Fridays because I should have connected with everybody. And if I didn't catch somebody, Friday's my day to connect with everybody that I didn't talk to. Or the candidates that I want to make sure that we're talking. So Fridays are reserved for follow-up. The rest of the week, I try to make sure I connect based on what clients I have. So that's how I do my week. Susan, do you want to share how you do your weekly check-ins and what your process is?
I have been playing around with what works for me. I think you have to kind of take a look at how you are, organizationally, what works for you. And so I use the binder system when I check in with clients, and I write on each of their forms what we talked about. I've tried other methods, and it was hard for me to kind of keep track of it. So I figured I'm going to use the binder. I put my client forms in there, and I write down what I said. But because of the kind of person I am, I want to make sure I get everybody. And so what I started doing is I made and I'll show it to you, I made an Excel spreadsheet, and it has all my clients' names on it. And all I did was put their name and the time that I specifically set to talk to my clients. And I tell them, I said, there's a window. I might call you a little bit late if I'm going over, but I kind of do it in about 15-minute increments on a Monday. I do also connect with some clients on Thursdays, because I don't know if you saw this at convention, but they were, encouraging us to connect with our clients the first month twice a week rather than going to once a week. So I started incorporating that. And I'm kind of like Julie, that if there's a client that I didn't get, I will mark it on this little checklist, or so that I have like 1 or 2 pages that I can just look at visually and go, okay, yes, I connected with that person. Yeah, and I made notes in their file. Yes, I connected. Oh, I left a message with that person. I need to go back and follow up. So it's like a recheck for me, so I don't forget, because I can sometimes be all over the place and I will forget. I use my phone a lot, my calendar on my phone, and I set alarms on my phone. Because if I have a call with somebody that's not normally within the schedule that I do it, if I don't put it in my phone with an alarm, I'll be honest with you, sometimes I'll forget it. And I hate that. You don't want to do that with your clients. So I will do that. I will write down, that I talked to them or I left a message, and then I will follow up with them in the week and make sure, like Julie, that I get to them by Friday for sure, in some way, shape, or form, whether it's a text, email, hopefully a phone call. But that's kind of what I do to sort of keep track. I have about 20 active clients that I talk to every week. And then I have clients that I kind of talk to every other week. I have my ones on maintenance that I try to connect to monthly. So I have to make sure I keep track of that. And so I just write it on this little 2-page checklist. Did you connect with them? Did you connect with them? And it kind of keeps me more organized than if I had, paper, which I've done. I've had papers all over the place, and that didn't work. So that's kind of what works for me.
That's cool. So I like paper personally. I keep up with everything because I'm paranoid it's all going to get lost on my phone, and there's too much, like I want to write little notes, and I cannot keep up with all that in my phone. So I use the planner just because I like that for me. But I would just say find a system. You may have to experiment a little bit. You may have to try the calendar on your phone and realize after a couple weeks, this is not working or this is awesome. So find what works for you and play around a little bit. And then I would say just keep to that structure, because I literally started doing the paper calendar 5 or 6 years ago when I started training, and that's just kept me straight and keeps me organized. And for me, if I don't have things written down, I get nervous. Everything is hanging out in my head and I'm like, oh, I just need to get it out on paper. So if I write it down, I feel so much better. Does anybody else have a system that they've found that you guys want to pipe in and share what's working for you, or questions that you guys have? Raise your hand and I can unmute you.
A question.
Go ahead, Jen. You're good.
So Susan had mentioned that she has 2 follow-ups for each client. Is that only until, oh, here it is. Okay, new clients first month. Okay, that makes total sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like week 2, week 3, week 2 and week 3, I think, is where they said you make sure you talk to them 2 times that week.
Okay.
That was something they rolled out at convention. So if you guys were there, usually what we've always done with new clients is you talk to them the first 4 days, make sure they get to their fat burn. And then for me, I was going to once every week system. But at convention, they suggested that we go to talking to people 2 times a week. I believe they put it on the new health assessment. So if you guys have the business kit, we'll get to that in a minute. But on the back side of the new health assessment, it says week 2, check-in. Did I do it both times? Week 3, did I do it both times? Week 4, I think it goes into just like a once a month. So if you look at the back, it actually keeps us all on track now, how often we're supposed to be checking in. So that's the check-in process. Did that answer y'all's question? Is it anybody else have other questions related to that? All right, so moving on to the new kit. That's one thing Susan and I wanted to make sure we talk about. Raise your hand if you guys have the new business kit. So probably like half of us. I know a couple of you guys are on the phone, so I can't see you, but the new kit is for us current coaches, it's only what, $99? Is that what we paid? $95? It's worth it to me because I love having the Optavia binder now. It comes with the folders in there, so you can put everything. It just makes sense the way it's organized. So you can put it in there the way you talk to clients. They're a candidate. Okay, now they've become a client. So I put it in the client folder. And now they're not just a client, they're moving on and they're beyond their first week. So they go in the next folder. So everything has got a place and a home. And for me, it makes a whole lot more sense. The new health assessment, I was asking this, and Beth, thank God, answered my question, because when I ordered the kit, I was like, wait, what about the new health assessments? Because if you go on to one of the other tools we'll talk about in a minute, if you want to print this thing, it is a lot of ink. So if you look at it, I've got it right here. You can see the whole one side is all black. So if you want, you can get them all in your kit, or you can even go on to your coaching or your site, log in as a client. If you don't log in, you won't see the coach options anymore. So log in, and then you'll see the health coach store where you can purchase everything, and you can buy it's a pack of 25 for like $3. So if you want to order them and get them in your next B-Slim, I think you can add them to your B-Slim. So they're coming. Go ahead, Meg. Let me unmute you. Go ahead.
Awesome, thanks. So does this this is a dumb question. Does this take place, the well-being tracker?
Exactly.
Okay.
Great question. So this is to replace the well-being tracker that we probably have all been printing. It was weird because I used this health assessment for my new client the other day, and it's a lot on one page. So there's a lot of questions, but what's really awesome is for people that are just starting, for you guys that are just starting to coach, you literally can just walk through and look at the questions and kind of read along and follow and ask questions as you go. So they designed it to be so simple for new coaches that you don't have to wonder. So a couple months ago, Dee and our team, we put together, like, what questions do I ask? What structure do I follow? So we had put that out and created a whole procedure to like do a candidate call. Now, literally, it's all on this health assessment. So you can just follow along on here. What I did notice, a couple things, is there's not a lot of room to write anything. So that was one of my thoughts, is you have to like squeeze everything in where I'm used to having room to write. The other thing is there's no address field. If you look at them, there's no address line. The new ones have been updated. So if you go on to our like coach answers, there's a field for that. But if you order the kit, it won't have an address line. So just know that you'll have to write it below. But if you follow along, it has everything. And even on the back side, it says, what kit did you order? And you fill in on the back, I ordered the essential kit, because I looked at it and I was like, where do I write in everything? So you can write that in. So you can literally stick it in the binder where it goes in which folder. So this health assessment is pretty simple and pretty sweet. The kit has everything for us. So I definitely encourage getting that so you guys feel like you're following along. Because for me, sometimes I resist the system and I just want to stick to my old, what I was comfortable with. And I realized the company's not going backwards. We need to be going forward. So I just complied and got mine, and actually I'm glad I did. So that's a new health assessment. Are there other questions you guys have about that? Anybody used it, have a story or input? Raise your hand if you have any input questions. All right. I love it. You guys are good. It may mean that you just haven't started using it yet. And I get it. Like, it can be fearful to start using a new tool. It can be intimidating, but what do you have to lose, right? Like, you kind of already have questions. If you need, pull out the questions we had written out before. And then after the call, you can go in and write down the answers and put it on the new health assessment if you need to. So if you're still comfortable with the old way, follow that and then write it in on the health assessment, and you'll get more comfortable as you go. So that's one of the new tools that's there for us. One of the things that a couple of people asked me is Susan Palace posted in the Team Palace yesterday, like 6, 8, 10 different Word documents. Basically what they did is put everything on a Word document. So if you go back into Team Palace, you'll see all these different documents. Go pull out your health assessment, because I did this last night. It's exactly the same questions. So if you want to get familiar with what's on the new assessment, just go up, open those documents. It's the exact same thing. So nothing new, nothing different. It's just more clear.
Yeah, I wanted to add, they did that to blow it up so you could read it better.
Yeah.
It is a lot on 2 pieces of paper, and it's like you said. I mean, we're shifting over to Optavia, and it's a great tool. But even if you're a little reluctant to try this new tool, I would highly recommend using it, because you want to make yourself duplicatable to your coaches on your team when you bring new people in. So if you know how to use the tool, then you can teach them, and it's so much easier to make yourself duplicatable instead of reinventing the wheel kind of thing. But yeah, there's a lot on it, but it kind of helps it to flow like a conversation. And to add to Julie's thing about the kit, there's a lot of great stuff in the kit. There's a lot of business tools in the kit. There's this great little coaching guide. If you haven't looked through that yet, I recommend reading through that, because they're trying to make this as simple as we possibly can, and for us to coach, just get right out there and help people and not spend so much time learning all these different things. So it's a very wise investment, I believe.
Yeah. And there's also a new updated, for anybody that wasn't at convention, there's also a new updated Optavia guide. So I noticed that, what page is it on? There is actually the transition plan, which was left out of the original Optavia guide. So if you guys pull out the one that you had before, if you're ever looking at it with clients, you're like, oh no, we're in transition, but I have nothing to tell you or show you. That was the old one. But thankfully, the new one, 18 and 20 are still the pages that go through the lean and green. But if you flip over the next page, it's like 22, I think, goes through transition. So if you guys have the new Optavia guide, paper version is great for us. I definitely recommend getting that. It will come in the kit. But if you don't have the kit and you want to just do it piecemeal, you can also order the new Optavia guide on our website, so you can get one. There's also a great link that is not totally intuitive yet to me, but I'm learning the new system. It has all the documents, and that's one of the other things Susan and I wanted to make sure we covered. So transition, just so you guys know, is in the new Optavia guide. You can walk through that with people, thankfully now. If you want to know how to go get it on the PDF, there's links for everything now. I'm going to pull up on my screen. I believe it is Coach Answers. I might not know. Yeah, coachanswers.optavia. Let's see. When you guys pull up the website, there's now lists of every single document. You can pull up the new Optavia guide. There's a new dining out guide. There's a nursing moms guide. So if you guys didn't even know there's a program for nursing moms, you can pull that up. Everything has Optavia now. It says that on the front. It's awesome colors. It's great. I haven't seen the new vegetarian guide yet, but there's a whole long list of all the new ones. What I did after convention is I went to that link and I started saving everything to my computer, because I like to be able to send things quickly to people when they ask. I know I was talking to Melissa the other night, and she saves everything to Google Docs. So whatever is a better system for you guys, the key is that you have things handy. So if somebody asks you, hey, is there a nursing moms program? One of my friends is asking me about it. You can flip to it quickly and go look at it and say, okay, how does the nursing moms work? You can pull it up and you've got it right there. Beth, were you going to say something?
I was just going to ask, so that takes the place of the document library, correct?
It is. It's probably not finished yet, so you may still find some things under document library. So if you don't see it, my suggestion, if you don't see it on the new link, I would go to documents library and pull it up there.
Okay, because I was looking at things on the document library. It still says MetaFast and all that. So it would hopefully be under the Optavia Coach Answers. Okay, thank you.
Yep. And there's a bunch of tools on there. It even has like the tracker for the trip, the incentive trip. There's all kinds of tools on that Answers website. So that's going to be our hub for everything. Susan, did you want to add anything? Because I think you were talking about this the other day, things that you saw or wanted to add.
You know, one of the big things that I think is, for me, is huge is the new 4-2-1 guide. I've been using that now with some clients that are just want to lose like 10 pounds. You know, that this 4-2-1 guide, it really kind of helps. It will address them. For clients that want to lose 15 pounds or less, they can actually lose the weight through the 4-2-1. Or if you have clients that are very active physically and don't want to, you know, pull back their intensity level, or, you know, in my case, are instructors or something like that and can't, this is a great guide. And it is also a PDF file, and I've sent it to several clients now for them to look at. It's kind of lengthy. It's got a few, you know, but if you could pull it up and download it to your computer or whatever you do there, take a look at it, because it's a little different than what we've had before. We've had 4 and 2, but not this 4-2-1. So I would recommend taking a look at it.
And I think it's mostly been kind of hiding for diabetics. So if you guys have any diabetic clients, I've used or I've seen it for that to help people regulate their blood sugar. So it's been hiding as an option, but now it's definitely being talked about more. And it comes as the kit, right? In the kit, right? The guide. Yeah, Beth's holding it up. Cool.
Yeah.
Meg.
Yeah. So just a quick question. When you're in the 4-2-1, you are not in fat burn, correct?
Well, I think it's a mild fat. From what I've understood from nutrition support, it's a mild, but it's not like the 5-1.
Mm-hmm.
From what I've heard.
I've been doing the 4-2 since I'm nursing, and I've had not the 4-2-1, just the 4-2. And so I have a couple of athletes that just started that are on the 4-2, and I'm wondering if I need to start doing the 4-2-1.
I personally, I wouldn't put people on that right away. Okay. Because I think 4 and 2 is more pure, like to the program. And I know you can stay in a mild fat burn in 4 and 2, but when you go to 4-2-1, you're adding in a snack, which could be like fruit and those kind of things, which will potentially throw you out of fat burn. Okay. So I would stick to, and I was just talking to Melissa about this, a couple of our Orange Theory clients, or what I'm noticing is a lot of them are just pushing through and they're literally starving. And one of my clients today said that her body fat is actually gone up a little bit. So to me, that's saying people are not losing fat, they're losing muscle. So we just have to be really careful how we're coaching clients and actually digging with them. Like, are you hungry? Because if you're hungry, you're not in fat burn and you can be hurting your metabolism. So you want to make sure clients are fueled, and Orange Theory is just growing and growing and growing. So they're doing more and more clients of ours are going to be extremely active, and that's a great thing, but we want to make sure that they're staying fueled. So that's a really good question, but I would start with 4 and 2 before moving anybody to 4, 2, and 1. And you can always call nutrition support too and ask them and nutrition support for any of you new coaches, they're phenomenal. They will dig with you. They'll ask. I've always do it with my client on the phone most of the time, because I feel like it just lends credibility to our company. So I'll call and do a 3-way with nutrition support and say, hey, this client's really struggling. Can you help me figure out what we should do with them? And they're great. So lean on to nutrition support, because we don't have all the answers. And we're not supposed to have all the answers.
And they'll ask a bunch of questions you wouldn't think to. And the other thing that I've done sometimes, if it's after hours, is I'll email them, and they're very good about getting back to you. And then you have an email document that you can forward to your client to explain things. I had a client that had kidney stones, and I have a client coming up with a colonoscopy. And so I said, what do we do in that situation? Because if you have a client that's going to be having a colonoscopy, there are certain foods they cannot have. So nutrition support is phenomenal. It's so helpful. And if you have any questions or any doubts, go right there. They'll help you.
Yeah. So the last thing I wanted to make sure that we touch on, maybe not all of you are senior coaches yet. I think most everybody on here is, though. So one of the coolest tools that we learned about probably about 1.5 years ago at Go Global, they rolled out this thing called the MAP. It's our monthly action plan. And for me, being the finance background, and I'm sure Meg relates, all of you guys that are the numbers, Jen, we need structure and we need it in front of us. And for me, the MAP is so cool because it literally allows you to go into the back office. You pull up who has scheduled B-Slim orders. You can put that down on paper, and you can see, how does my month look based on who I'm coaching and who's coming up this month. It allows you to write in who all your candidates are so you can list them. So once again, you can get it out of your head and onto paper. And then on the right side, it allows you to put what coaches you have. If you don't have coaches yet, that's on the right side. You know that's a goal. You want to start filling that right side with coach candidates. There's a spot for the candidates, and then there's a spot for the coaches that you're trying to help get to senior coach. And all you're doing is just helping them do what you've done. So if you guys don't use it yet, I definitely encourage you to just play with it. If you don't know how to use it, come ask us, your business coach, come out, any of us, we will help you walk through it. How to lay it out. How do you find where all these people are? Where do I even see this? So if you guys don't know how to do it, just come to us and we'll help you walk through it. I think it'll give you peace of mind knowing, like, I know when I first started coaching, I was like, who's coming up? Like, how do I know? I'm just getting all these emails all the time. Somebody's got another order coming and I don't get all this, but now I understand it all because I have it written out on my map. So it lets, I usually do it the last day of the month. I go into the back office and I see what's my current numbers, how many people have I coached. You can list it all on there. And then I usually email it over to Dee the first of the month. So if you guys send it to your business coach, we can help walk you through it. And that's how we can help you make sure we know what you want for the month and what your goals are. Because that's really what it's about, right? Where do you want to go? Yes, go ahead.
Plus, if you write it down, you'll see that visual goal and you're more likely to attain it. So if you say, well, I want to have 5 new clients this upcoming month, and you write that down, and it gives you that, what your mind sees, it believes. So, it gives you that visual goal, or with coaches or whatever. And I've noticed that if I write it down, or I have that 1 page of paper that I can write client candidates, coach candidates, everything right there, it just gives you a really great snapshot of where you're at.
Yep. What were you going to ask, Meg?
I was going to ask where that is in the back office, in my office in motion. Yeah.
Okay. So one of the things that they told us at convention is that the MAP process is going to be changing. I haven't heard anything else since convention, so I don't know when that process is going to change, but for the interim, I wouldn't wait for it. I would just go ahead and pull it up. Dee actually posted it probably about a week ago in our Team Korchan page, right at the beginning of August. There's a video that we can send you that walks you through how to actually, Brad Miller does it and tells you how to fill it out and how to do the reports. So when we finish the call, I'll post that in Team Korchan. I'll just pull it from Dee's post. So there's a new one so everybody can see it. I'll post the video, and then it also has the link to pull it up. And I think we figured out that it is under documents in our back office. It's still under the old system because it's not Optavia yet. So it's under the back office. If you look up monthly action plan or monthly, just start typing that in under the documents library. When you do the search, it should pull it up and it becomes a PDF that you can edit. So for me, I just saved it to my computer so that I have it there all the time in a folder. I pull it up beginning or end of the month, fill it out. I personally print it to PDF so that it's saved. And then I email it over and I print a copy for myself so that I can just mark it up and use it the rest of the month. Does that make sense? So I'll post the link to the video to help you walk through how to fill it out. And then the link to actually pull up the PDF. And then the last thing I'll post is that Optavia answers so that you guys can go in and pull up all the documents if you want to save them to Google Docs or save them to your computer. That way you guys have the new resources and you feel a little bit more equipped when people ask questions and you know where to find everything. Does that sound good? Awesome. The last thing is we have events coming up in Atlanta next Saturday and then Charlotte next Saturday. Susan, do you know what time yours is in Atlanta?
Yeah, it starts at 8:45 a.m. registration and it starts at 9.
Perfect. And then Charlotte's 11 to about 12:30. And then we're doing coaches lunch after that. So
Real quick, well, Julie, I did invite my 3 clients that live in Spartanburg to come, so hopefully they will. I'm going to follow up with them.
That's awesome.
I know. Hopefully I'll let you know if they're coming.
Yep. And Jonathan, feel free to send your Charlotte people. I think I sent a message to you and Shannon. So anybody else, you're welcome to send them this way. I'll connect them back to you guys and they'll feel so much better being connected and plugged in. Anything else, Susan?
And don't forget, August 31st is the deadline to get the early bird pricing for the next convention. So mark that on your calendar. Make sure you don't miss that. Tell your new coaches and clients and stuff too.
Exactly. So. Yay. And y'all feel free to post other questions when I do our links in there. Feel free to ask away. We're happy to help. Any other questions before we wrap up? All right. Awesome. Y'all have a great Friday and a great weekend. We'll see you next Thursday at 8.